Have you ever pictured yourself being in a manhwa that takes place in high school, beating up all the bullies, getting all the hoes, and being feared and admired by the kids in the other schools? I know personally I wanted to unite the 4 major crews and make bread doing hood rat with my friends, but doing and imagining those types of things are 2 different things, because as soon as you look at the shit that happens in those manhwas more realistically, you might start to realize what kind of demon you'd have to be, because manhwa in high school are just built different. In order for me to help you understand how ridiculous high school life in manhwa is, I'll have to take you through the PTJ universe, which consists of many titles you may be familiar with, like Lookism, Viral Hit, Manager Kim, Questism, Life as a Loser, and more. But today, we'll be focusing on Pactagen's most popular comic, Lookism. A quick summary for those that aren't familiar. Lookism is a story about a young, ugly, fat bastard that moved schools because of the bullying he endured in his previous school. Prior to attending his first day at his new school, he learns that he now possesses 2 bodies. His original body, which is fat and ugly, and his new body, which is, in all aspects, a perfect body. Now you observe as he lives a somewhat double life, filled with interesting events. See, Lookism was an enjoyable story about the difference in experiences that ugly people have compared to handsome or pretty people. But after the God Dog arc, the story went from My Hero Academia to Black Lagoon. The way it quickly turned into a story about a whole lot of gang shit involving the craziest, and I do mean the craziest levels of Black Air Force energy, is to be studied with the same level of care that the dudes creating robots have. That was out of pocket, my bad. Let me just tell you why you wouldn't want to be a high schooler in this comic. Other than the basic bullying, blackmail, stalking, several degrees of assault, arson, and all that, Lookism's characters, which are all almost ages 15 to 19, just to remind you if you weren't sure, deal with crazier shit than most webtoons. We started to deal with murder, attempted murder, prostitution, various forms of scams, sexual assault and harassment and all that. We are talking about demons. Like, we even have an arc that takes place in the juvenile prison. You know the kind of kids we're dealing with when you have an arc that takes place in juvie. I could go on and on, but let me do it like this. Case 1. Characters. Not gonna lie, there are many characters involved in this bullshit, but after rereading Lookism, I've made mental notes and a sort of hierarchy of niggas I wouldn't want to get anywhere near me. A good example of such character is Ollie Wang. Where do I even start with this psychopath? He went from a regular student to transitioning into one of the most savage, psychopathic, adrenaline-seeking individuals in this comic. Just look at his face. You can't tell me that's a face of a sane person. He's someone that idolizes freedom. His concept of freedom lies in living on the street like a bot, beating niggas within an inch of their life, stealing, scamming, and everything in between. And just to put it in different words, his passion, what wakes him up in the morning, is doing crime. What the actual fuck is wrong with this guy? He just does whatever he wants, which on its own would grant him the title of menace. But what elevates him to the tier of Black Air Force energy known as the Black Tims tier is the fact that he's a leader of a gang, not just any gang, one of the 4 major crews. He controls the whole east side of South Korea, which is a problem considering his gang is filled with runaway minors, perfect for committing all sorts of crimes. One of those runaways is James Gong, who is an impulsive psychopath with no regard for the consequences or anything like that, as long as he gets what he wants and has fun. Basically Ollie Wang Jr., if we're being honest. James Gong is basically Ollie Wang without the obsession with Eli, and can feel pain, doesn't have a crew, nor has trained with a gun. Putting that into perspective kinda makes Ollie Wang seem fucking insane, but does he belong in Black Tim's tier? To be honest, I can't see him without Black Tims. Like, he wears Tims 24/7 for sure, but I might bump him up to Demon tier because of his obsession with Eli. Yeah, no debate. He's a demon tier for sure. His obsession with Eli Jang made him take on and raise a bunch of kids into Eli Jangs. He is raising them to become the epitome of Black Air Force energy. These children are future demon tier individuals. I still can't wrap my head around that, but what makes it worse is that he uses kids for his illegal adoption scams. I can't with him, bro. He's too much. I quickly want to add that he's the only leader of a major crew not interested in money or being Gun's replacement. Meaning, he does this shit for fun. Let that sink in. There are many characters deserving of demon tier Black Air Force energy, but this one is one of my favorite characters just because of how villainous this man is. Only 3 people may come to mind when I said that: Gun, Jun-go, or Samuel So. All 3 are in my top 5, but I have to talk about Samuel So. First, look at him. He's 19 or 18 in Western age with tits like that? Damn. But let me refocus. Samuel So is the president of the 4th and 3rd Workers Affiliate, so you know he's not only strong but business-minded. But business-minded isn't what I would describe him to be. I just think he's a master finesser that can make the best out of a bad situation. He is always going behind people's backs and doing his own thing on some Aizen manhwa type shit. Okay, maybe not that level, but still, gotta respect the hustle. When Sino, the big boss of Big Deal, was out of commission, Big Deal was facing with the threat of being disbanded by Gun and Jin-go, which, side note, 2 people going around disbanding crews? Demons. Samuel stepped up and made 100 million won in a month, which is approximately $100,000 US, and he did that by himself to make Big Deal one of the 4 major crews. Except it wasn't all. When Go went to collect it, he kicked that shit out of his hands. Now you're like, what? What's happening? Turns out he used their rival gang, the Black Bear Gang, which isn't made up of a bunch of teenagers, but actual adults with knives ready to kill, to test, gun, and go. That was some sneaky shit. What made it worse is how he got the money. The street that Big Deal has been protecting for years, he used that as collateral to get a loan from the Black Bear Gang. That is some sneak shit. But it put him and his crew in a sort of win-win situation. Whichever faction wins, they'd owe them 100 million won, but have gotten rid of one of the ops. That was some crazy bullshit. But he basically regularly does shit like this. Like the night the 3rd affiliate was getting attacked, he was there, just having fun. Dropping down in a helicopter, walking around, instigating shit. Like bro called the 3rd affiliate and was offering help. They was like, nah. So he told him that if you needed help protecting Vivi, which is the president of that affiliate, they'd have to bark for him. Lo and behold, they started needing his help, and the nigga with 2 broken arms and a broken leg is on the floor barking for his life. That shit was low-key emotional because Zhao Lun is sacrificing everything to keep her safe. He may never walk again, and yet he's still using his chin to crawl towards her so she can be protected, even though he can't do shit. He crying, Vivi crying, and Samuel pulls up. Shit is getting serious and suspenseful. And you know what this man does? He says, I don't want to. As in, he doesn't want to help this man that gave up everything, including his pride, to ask him for help. He says, I don't want to, with the ugliest smile I've ever seen. Like, you can see how much he enjoys this shit. He even went up to his ear to shove it in his face even more. Straight up told him, me and that nigga that broke all your limbs are on the same side. I just wanted to see if your prideful bitch ass would bark for someone you hate. And you did, like a bitch. Word for word what he said. This guy's a menace. Not just because of that, but because of earlier, when he was making his way through the building, he found Johan. So like the super villain he is, he walks up to him, umbrella in his hand, and casually spills Worker's 3rd affiliate secret, which is connected to Johan's traumatic past, involving his mom, priest, and friends. He just casually drops a tide-changing piece of information and just dips. Now Johan is going ballistics and murking everyone in his way. You can't tell me that's not some villainous behavior. He low-key should be Gun's successor, but he didn't get acknowledged because of his savage behavior. This is coming from Gun, by the way. Samuel loves to fight, so he fights like he wants to put you in a coma. He's probably one of the most brutal fighters of all Pactagians. Heck, even all drama-related manhwas out there. He is certainly demon tier for me. We have been dealing with high school dropouts, so the chances of you having problems with them if you weren't interested in that type of scene is somewhat low. If you were the protagonist, you'd definitely get involved with them, but let's just say you tried to stay away from the 4 major crew drama, which again would be very difficult since as a protagonist that life chooses you. You don't have a choice. And let's say you do. You'd still have to worry about 2 different types of people. The strong bullies, such as Zach Lee, a prodigy boxer, Vin Jin, a very strong judo athlete, or Logan Lee, a huge jiu-jitsu specialist that gave the protagonist of Lookism a deep trauma that couldn't have been solved by being tall, handsome, and strong. Although these individuals are insanely strong in their own rights, Bare Knuckle also goes to that school, so they wouldn't be too much of a problem. On the other hand, the second type of person would be being friends with someone like Jiho, Black Tim's tier for sure. You can make the case for Menace or make a case for Demon, it doesn't matter because this stupid fuck was unintentionally involved in some Black Air Force activity. He used to hang around James Gong and his guys, which as a pussy was still kinda crazy, but what solidified his spot in the tier list was his attempted murder of not 1 but 2 people. I remember reading that chapter and me and my friend were so pissed at the fact that he damn near killed our protagonist because of his insecurities.
Wait, Slicks. How is this worthy of being on the list? He was regretting and crying like a little bitch after he did it. Aren't the people on the list supposed to be unapologetic about their actions?
Yes, they should be unapologetic about the action, but why he made it in is because he now has to spend time in the pen, which was what created the sociopath that we see today. Went from a bitch to a menace that has a hold on all the other inmates through sheer fear. Every time he fights to kill, and if you got a problem with him, you got shooters ready to take you out. He used to be a normal high school student in their freshman year. Now he leads a gang while having ties to Big Deal. Jiho Park is so bad that the cops are wary of him, and the inmates rather be in solitary confinement instead of being anywhere near him. This is what he did to his counselors. You know, the ones genuinely trying to help him rehabilitate. This is number 1, and this is number 2. Personally, I think number 2 had it worse because he was basically a bystander of Jiho's prison break. Yes, this man escaped prison. Who else doing that? No one else is doing it like he did. What other high school age character in a manhwa is escaping jail? The way he did it was cold too. He had the gang help him and everything. This how it went down.
Well, I'm sorry, Jiho. I'm sure you had fun, but it's time to go back. You're so well behaved.
Sir, I don't want to go back. Matter of fact, I'm not going back.
What are you talking about? Don't be like that, Jiho. I know it's tough because your grandma died. She ain't dead. What you mean?
I lied. I had my homies fake that shit.
Hey, come on. Stop playing.
Shut the fuck up, pussy. My gang came to pick me up. I told you I ain't going back. He's also the first one to figure out and confirm that Daniel has 2 bodies. I'm telling you, he's built different. Nobody does it like him. He got Black Tims for sure. Case 2, drama, arcs, and events. Lookism has some of the most badass Black Air Force written activities in all PTJ manhwas. Multiple people are not only able, but willing to go up against multiple people at a time, fighting to the death. Like Gun and Go were responsible for creating the 4 major crews. They have 4 crews, making them 100 million won, which again, $100,000 from each crew. You might be wondering how they got 4 gangs to pay them 100k a month, like it's only 2 people forcing whole gangs to make the money. Turns out, every gang that they didn't acknowledge, they worked them. Stream murked everyone and forced them to disband. I don't know how many little gangs they eliminated, but considering how many of them be popping up out of nowhere in this comic, it's probably a lot. That's straight demon timing. Imagine you and your gang chilling, and 2 random niggas pull up and tell you to make 100k every month. Not gonna lie, I'd be tight. I'd try to do something, but I'd just end up dead for real. Nobody's standing up to one of them. Now you got both of them coming after you, it's raps. The only person that could maybe take both of them is Ultra Instinct Daniel, because Ultra Instinct Daniel got people shivering. Daniel, as a conscious person, is a nice guy. He's a good, compassionate kid. It just so happens that he also has perfect body and he can fight. So when he becomes unconscious with the will to fight being the only emotion he has, that's the birth of Black Air Force energy infused Daniel Park. The second time Daniel went Ultra Instinct, he broke Gun's arm. He broke Gun's arm and regained consciousness on top of him. We are talking about the White Ghost, the boss of the Yamazaki clan, the Yakuza boss. A few arcs later, he had a couple of crew heads shook. Daniel fucked them up so bad they was traumatized. He, by himself, jumped them niggas, had them teaming up and fighting for their lives. Even Bo almost got nearly fucked up. The shit was so traumatizing that when Daniel came through to that workers invitational event, niggas stopped in their tracks, scared as fuck to make a move. Even when they resumed fighting, they still had one eye on Daniel the whole time. If he wasn't so nice, I'd probably put him on demon tier. Shit, maybe even the round table, because very few can really do that. Very few can stab the gang leader in the back, join a gang that's supposed to be oppositional, walk right into his ops school and start instigating shit, then set up people that have nothing to do with his beef with the ops just to test set opposition. Have his op fall in love with his undercover girlfriend so he can sneak him at the last moment while his homeboy taking out the leader of one of the 4 major crews. I don't even know that nigga's name, but he really did all that. He had a hand in manipulating, causing many arcs in the story. Like that time he scammed bare people and had a random student in your class take the fall for it. Or that time he set up J-High students to fight amongst themselves so it's easier for them to clean them up. And I can't get over the fact that he is behind a number of arcs and problems. I think we should thank him for not giving us content, but for allowing us to witness what is inside Jay's fingerprint locked suitcase. Apparently he has certification proving he is a real nigga and about his shit and a Glock. Jay got glizzies, spinners, sticks, burners. This guy is a rich ass high schooler pulling out sticks in South Korea. As of writing this, there are 395 official chapters out and no one else pulled out a gun. Funny thing is, he ain't even shooting nobody. He just beats niggas up with it. The way he beat those 2 folks that ran up on him is low-key crazy. I could go on and on about the crazy shit that happens in this manhwa. Fights are brutal and entertaining. These high school kids got no fucks to give and a whole lot of gang shit be taking place. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. I would be even more grateful if you comment on manhwa you'd like to see covered. I have my socials in my description if you want to see more of me. Till next time. Case 3, bonus quick mentions. He is Big Daddy of Hostel B, which by the way, calling yourself and having others call you Big Daddy is crazy. It's giving a lot of pimp vibes, not gonna lie. Bin Jin committed murder. Yeah, a bully that ran away from his hometown because he committed murder and has bare niggas looking for him is casually going to J-High, trying to become a rapper. Yeah, that's kind of weird.